morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome back to PSA TV. This is Eye on Labor. Joining us this morning, we have the president of the Aranguez Farmers Association, Mr. Pundit Satyanand Maharaj. Good morning, Mr. Maharaj.
Hi, good morning, and of course, good morning to all your viewers this morning on the PSA TV.
How are you? I know. How are you
Well,
today?
only as well as the country is, which is not so well. So much things to be cause for concern. The massacre of the fishermen, the prices of goods at the market, everything what can go wrong seems to be going wrong.
Before we jump into anything, I just want to ask you an update on what's happening with the farmers there at Aranguez.
Well, the farmers at Aranguez are requesting to be relocated. And even as we wait on that to fall from heaven, we continue to face the same issues that we've been facing. Palladial larceny has been one of our biggest issues quite recently, with crops being cut to the bone, literally down to the soil. And of course, what is of recent concern is that WASA has been getting back to the farmers who applied for abstraction of water. And in some cases, at the high end, farmers are being asked to pay $2,800 a year in abstraction fees, which we find to be very expensive, almost punitive, if you will. It's as though we're being punished for wanting to water to plant and to feed the nation. You see, the thing is that farmer doesn't. There's no real subsidy for farmers when it comes to crop production. Apart from the pump and the vehicle and so on, the chemicals that you buy is on the open market. You trade when you finish cultivating on the open market, so market forces tend to drive prices down and up. So there's no fixed price, so you can't, after you pay the $2,800, then you pay $14,000 in rental, you pay tractor, you pay for seedlings, you pay for chemicals and so on. Your price, your cost of production may be quite lower than the cost that you sell the produce at. So you see the problem there. Farmers continue to operate at a frustration level, and this new thing from WASA, where the price of abstraction is so high, is actually really making farmers feel that they should be doing something else.
Sati, I know you all are occupying a very small land space. Are you getting any challenges in terms of the rainy season right now?
Well, the problem is that it's a man-made problem that we're having. Aranguez was actually designed for agriculture. So, we've talked about that. There are aqueducts and so on that bring water in when there's a lot of water, no water, and it takes water out as well. So the water passes through the land and exits. The problem is that maybe last year or probably a year and a half ago, there is a tunnel under the highway, the Churchill Roosevelt, and Ministry of Works clogged that tunnel. That tunnel allows water to run from North Aranguez into South Aranguez. The way the aqueduct system was developed is that the water Aranguez North will get water in the morning, and Aranguez South will get water in the evening. So the water would naturally flow through. Those ducts have been closed off, and they act as a drainage now to move water out of North Aranguez into South, and then eventually water is pumped into the Caroni. Two things have happened. One is that the tunnels are clogged. Minister Rohan Satyanand was on record with the media saying that he will have them cleaned. They've never been cleaned, and they still haven't been cleaned. And then the pumps in South Aranguez are not working. In El Sicuro are not working to remove excess water into the Caroni swamp, so that it will just go away into the sea. So we do have incidents of flooding already starting to happen, and there's no relief in sight for that, because the method of clearing the water out, which is the aqueducts, are now clogged. Sometimes I feel that as much as we beg, we shouldn't have to beg, but it's falling on deaf ears.
I know on Wednesday, there was a protest outside of the Hyatt, and some of your farmers there were spotted. Were you there as well?
But I wasn't there personally. I had commitments. I mean, as a Pundit, sometimes we have puja that can't be changed and so on. But our Aranguez farmers supported the protest, and I know the Taxi Drivers Association of Aranguez supported the protest. We had a taxi driver who was murdered just last year, and so it's close to us, and we have supported we support the protest because we want government to understand that we the people are suffering, and we don't have blue flashing lights escorting us around the country, and we are subject to the criminal elements. We are literally on the front line, and so we supported that. And I know that the UNC St. Joseph had a large contingency out supporting it as well. I mean, it was Wednesdays, middle of the week, and people were working and so on, but people took time off to go in and show solidarity with the protesters. I mean, it's affecting people across the board, and I saw support from across the board in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's something government has to take heed of.
I just
But
want
the
to
people
pull
are
back.
really upset now.
I just want to pull back there where you spoke about the 7 fishermen that was murdered out on sea. If you can just give us your thoughts on that issue.
But I mean, it has to be condemned for what it is. It's a heinous crime. It is a massacre. We have not had 7 murders of that nature. We have to call it what it is. And I don't think that one person went out and did it. The police have not yet really, I think, is there one person in custody or nobody in custody? A lot of speculation about who did it, but so far the reality is no one has been charged. And I don't know how good the police are because sometimes I get the impression the police are also operating at frustration levels. Coming back to the bail bill has been passed unanimously, right? And I'm not sure how much that bill is going to help. God alone knows we have so many laws in place, but the problem is not really the problem is not really getting the guns off the street. You can't find the guns to get them off the street. You understand what I'm saying? So with all the bills that are being passed, detection rate is still low. And maybe that's something we need to be looking at. And my heart really goes out to Gary Griffith. He has a tremendous task to do, and I pray every day that he's successful, because if he's successful, then we the citizenry, we are safe. But so far we've not seen that. We've seen that criminals are emboldened to go out and kill 7 people in one night, and the fact that there's a racial undertone in the killing doesn't really add to really adds now to the problems we already face in Trinidad and Tobago.
Sati, what would you say is the state of the economy right now?
It's stagnant. It is stagnant. Retail is down. There are a lot of small businessmen who were bringing in their own brand of material to sell and so on. I know one gentleman who brought in a brand of supplement, and he can't get Forex to buy, so his business is failing. And he has a mortgage to pay. He has children to send to school, and so on. So he can't get US to buy. He can't bring in his product. He can't sell. There's a demand for his product, but he can't get money to bring it in. And so that's drying. And that is just one out of many that have the same complaint, that they can't get US, they can't do business, and because they can't do business, their lifestyle will be compromised. Imagine you worked all your life and you've used your savings to go into business now because you've lost your job, and then the business is doing pretty good. You're able to take care of yourself, and suddenly you can't get Forex. And so we are in a spin, downward spiral, and with really no hope in sight.
I know some citizens say that they are not depressed, they are enraged with what is happening with the country. How do you feel safe?
Well, depression is a very passive thing where you sit and it comes on and it takes you over. Enraged is actually probably a better frame of mind than being depressed, because when you are enraged, you will get up and do something about it. And the people show that on Wednesday, that they were willing to get up and come into Port of Spain. And I mean, we should not just simply paint it as a political tool of the United National Congress. But I think it was, more than anything else, it was an outpouring of the sentiments of the society, because there was a cross-section, there was an absolute cross-section of people. Now, I know that I know that emotions run high, and people are visibly upset. And sometimes we say things and we do things that may not, may not be politically correct when we say it. And because I saw a little clip with someone taunting a supporter, and the things that she said, I'm sure that she regretted saying it the way she did, but one must read between the lines. But people are really fed up. We have a prime minister who can find time to play golf, but cannot find time to visit the massacred Caribe fisherman's family, which I find, in the same breath he will say he runs to Tobago because his friend was killed, or he's at some big shot family in up north when some tragedy strikes them. But the same people, they can't find people. Then we have Minister Hines saying he's actually afraid to go to Caribe. Why would Minister Hines? Has there been is there a record or some history of ethnic violence in the country that he alone knows about, that he will be attacked? So these things we have to be, when they put this out in the public domain, we have to question it. And sometimes we have to be rabid when we question to get them to retract it, because these statements have absolutely no factual base at all whatsoever.
I know some has also questioned the fact that when the Coast Guard was called upon regarding the 7 fishermen, they were told that they had no fuel for the boats.
Yeah, they have no fuel, and we can tell by the influx of Venezuelans in this country that they still continue to have no fuel. I think that is just an attempt at saying that we don't care enough to go out and look. I mean, from a country that produces fuel, to say that we have no fuel stems from the fact that government has been mismanaging the economy for the last 4 years. You see, I tell you this, blame saying, because every time something comes up, the Prime Minister likes to say blame Kamala. But the point is this, it's coming on 4 years. I think it's November, it's going to be 4 years. And blame Kamala cannot be the economic policy for taking this country forward, right?
I just wanted to ask you, have you seen, this current government, have they done anything so far, or just chastised the previous government? Is that what you're saying?
Well, all they have done, they've been chastising. We see the interchange being built, and it's disingenuous the way they paint pictures. They're building a different design, but they're saying, listen, we're building it cheaper, which is fine with me. I'm happy they're building it cheaper. I'm wondering how safe cheaper is, though, and how functional cheaper is. Because just next to the thing, the interchange, you see someone's house that they can actually stand there and probably hand somebody something on who's passing in a car on the highway. Under the old plan, those houses would have been removed. It would have been a lot safer. So I'm wondering if that design is able to take the volume of traffic at the correct interchange. But that aside, you're not getting your drains fixed. We're not seeing roads being paved. We're not seeing some of the goods and services that we expect from government being delivered. Local government has been crying out for funding because their projects are there. They can't get money from central government to complete their projects. Because let's face it, some of these projects are delivered at local level, and the government has been starving local government for funding. All right, and taxes have been going up and up and up. Fuel costs have been going up and up and up. So really, what the government has done over the last 4 years is to dip into your savings and take that money to God knows do what, because they've spent almost as much money as, if not the same, as the previous government, and they don't have a box drain to show for it, which is an indictment. Apart from recurrent expenditure, where has the money been going? 1 or 2 grand plans, but the small things that we need our roads paved, we need a reliable supply of water. Small business need forex as well to continue to trade. What is the government's plan for developing the economy? Nobody seems to know.
Sati, I'm going to ask you for a closing comment.
Well, of course, I want to thank you very much, and I want to remind the population that you cannot expect the police to safeguard you. We need to take measures to safeguard ourselves. We need to be vigilant all the time. The criminal elements are emboldened, as they are always under PNM government. Statistics prove that. If you're denying that, then you are really setting yourself up. Whenever the PNM comes into power, the murder rate goes up. Crime and crime rate goes up. Criminals are emboldened, and we too must now protect ourselves. However you interpret that to be, protect yourself, secure your family, secure your belongings, and continue to pray. And more than anything else, make yourself vocal. Put pen to paper, write, post on social media, let the government know that they need to do something. They need to be creative. And if they can't do the job, I will always remember Dr. Rowley saying, if the government is not part of the solution, then it's part of the problem, to paraphrase him, so to speak. If he can't do the job, well, so all you need to do is call the election now. There are other people who are willing to do it. Right now, you have not been doing the job, and you give someone else a chance. Maybe and if they can't do it, well, then someone else gets a chance after that. But call the election now. The mandate that you've been given. All we have seen is that they've gone off after politicians, and Mr. Manning closed down Carney. Dr. Williams closed down the rail system, and I think the greatest injustice of all in the last 4 years, Dr. Rowley has closed down Petrotrin. I want to thank you very much, Avion, for having me on, and I'm so sorry I couldn't come in person.
That's okay.
But I will attempt to make some time to get there at some point in time.
No problem. Thank you so much, Sati, for taking this call with us.
All right. You have a wonderful day, and thank you very much to PSA for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was the president of the Aranguez Farmers Association, Mr. Satyanand Maharaj. They're speaking with us. He's actually calling for the elections to be called soon. So we're going to toss a short break and come right back.